Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here's some information about how to actually work on your expository essay using your information that you found doing your Google site and setting up the essay, things like that. So, if you want to do this essay in Google Docs, I have that linked for you in the agenda. You make a copy. The template is just MLA format. So you are welcome to write right here. Change your name to your name, last name to your last name, title. You would put your thesis there. If you would prefer to write in Word, I have the MLA format outline that you use for your pledge. It's the same deal. But it looks something like this. Again, you change your name, your last name, double click and fix that. Don't delete the little one. The date, this is due October 3rd. Title you can change later, and then this is the same outline that I had for your pledge. So you're kind of starting here. Now, you should have already written your thesis, so you can just copy and paste that right into your essay. Whoops. Copy. Paste. Now notice when you paste something, this little clipboard shows up. Click the clipboard and do keep text only, because then it matches the font of whatever you're going to, not what you're coming from. So that is helpful. Alright, so you at least have a thesis. Then what I want you to do next, you worked on creating your Google site. And that's where all your information should be and cited on there. So, I want you to open up your Google site. Oh, jeez. And your essay. Okay, so here we are. I have my Google site, I have my essay. Now, if we go through our outline, formatted, our paper's already formatted. So, first is the introduction. You start with a hook. This you kind of just have to think about. But you could quote something, you could just write a question or a funny statement. Do not use the personal pronouns for this essay, you, I, us, we. So don't ask, have you ever wanted to be an electrician? Because that has you in it. So let me think of one. So you can do an introductory statement, which is what I have here. Almost every person in the United States spends a large amount of time learning from, with, and generally being around teachers. So I'm just very broadly introducing my topic. So you will do that, and then the rest of your intro, just besides your thesis, which you already wrote, is tie-in. So you're introducing your profession, your topic, what you're going to say about it. So let me do that. Alright, I wrote some tie-in, so I already had my hook. So after you say, generally being around teachers, I added on just some sentences to introduce my topic and start to get more specific to the thesis. However, many students do not realize the vast responsibility that comes with teaching, let alone the steps to become one. In a society where teachers are judged based on student performance and regularly criticized for educational performance in general, it's important to evaluate the profession of teaching as it stands before reflecting on what it could or even should be. All teachers have an obligation to their students to set them up for success in life, but one type of teacher in particular plays a huge role in how successful students are at their future careers and even personal lives. High school English teachers are the final passageway through which students become adults looking to positively contribute to society in terms of communication, research, presentations, analysis, critical thinking, creation, and so much more. With this in mind, and then I go into my thesis. Teaching English is a challenging but rewarding profession due to the responsibilities, the requirements, and the new advancements. And that's my thesis. It's the last sentence of the introduction. It gives my one-sentence main idea that I'm going to talk about. which is all about teaching English, both the pros and the cons, not really arguing that it's more important or less important than anything else. I mentioned what my 3 body paragraphs will be. The first one will be about the responsibilities of teaching high school English. So like what they have to do on the job. The requirements would be the next paragraph about the requirements to be one. And then finally the new advancements in teaching. Alright, so my intro is done, other than I have to indent it. You just press tab. And you can wait to do this until later, but you will eventually have to, I like to remove the space after paragraph, but double space. Up here in spacing, you press 2.0. Alright, so there's my intro. So what would be next? Body paragraphs. Remember, you start with a topic sentence, you have your support, you have your so what. So you would transition into that next by starting with the first topic that you mentioned. So the responsibilities of, why do I keep struggling with that? Of teaching high school English are fast yet manageable. Alright, so you're doing something to introduce the topic of that paragraph. So I should be able to see the topic there. So whenever you're done with your essay, you would delete that outline. So what I want to add right now before I end this video is that in your body paragraphs, that's where you're really going to use over here your Google site. I guess I could have just pulled that up right now. But anyway, this is where you put all your research that you've done so far based on the information I gave you. So this I did from memory. I didn't cite anything, but you probably have something cited here. So you would say, like, according to the Government Outlook Handbook. And then you can quote, or even if you're paraphrasing information that you found on that website, you still have to cite, at least say where it came from. So you would do that, like something like, I don't know. I wrote all of this already. Okay, this is pretty good. Control summatively. Oh look, I spelled that wrong. Oh no, it's right. Alright, so let's say I have some stuff here. And let's say, for example, that this particular part also came from the Government Handbook, Outlook Handbook. So if you don't want to introduce it in the sentence, you can just write the website title, Government Handbook, in parentheses after the end of the sentence. So it probably doesn't have a page number, so you just put it in parentheses without the page number. So that's what you'll keep doing. So I have my support. You end with a so what by here, let me write it. So you could say something like, by understanding the responsibilities of high school English teachers, aspiring teachers, or even critical parents get a more accurate picture of what life is like every day in this profession. Okay, so then you would move on, and the next topic I said was the requirements to be one. This is where I would also put salary information, so I would say, like, this is what you have to do to become one. Once you are one, this is what you'll make. So you should have written about all of this stuff. Let me start with requirements. So you should have citations. This page I also wrote from memory, but you should have citations there. So you transition into the next paragraph. Why is this bold? Hold on. Okay. Once an aspiring teacher understands the responsibilities of the profession. So a good transition goes between ideas, not just the order. So like a lot of you will say first or second or next, which is okay, but it's better to transition between what the paragraphs are about and how those ideas are connected. So once an aspiring teacher understands the responsibilities of the profession, he or she can begin these steps to actually becoming a high school English teacher. Alright, so there's my topic sentence. Then I would have my support here, information about how to be one. You'll cite where that came from based on what you have in your Google site. You do the same deal with the salary and benefits. So you would say like, once you become a teacher, you'll make between blah, blah, blah. That's according to that I did cite, Salary Wizard of Public Schools. So you do that. You do the so what, why are there so many steps to be a teacher? Why does it matter that that exists or that it matters? Go into your last body paragraph about new advancements and issues. So that is an easy transition because you would say, after becoming a full-time English teacher, a candidate needs to begin learning all of the new advancements and facing new issues as they arise. Alright, so I transitioned there between that body paragraph, which obviously I didn't write all of it, but you will. And the last one, which is new advancements and new issues. So you would go to your new advancements and new issues tab, and figure out what that is, cite it, talk about it here. A lot of times they're related. And a new advancement comes because there was a problem. So you do that, you write about it, you say why that matters. It matters to be aware of new issues so that people can be coming up with solutions for them. And it matters to understand new advancements to get a better idea of what the job is like in the 21st century, because they're always changing. So then you would go to your conclusion, where you restate your thesis in other words. So let's restate it in other words. So you would say, keep doing after. How about by understanding the job description, requirements, and constantly evolving demands of a high school English teacher, students, parents, and community members can more accurately critique or praise what he or she is doing well. And that I mentioned in my introduction, that in society teachers are judged and criticized for their performance, but sometimes you don't have a lot of control over what you're being criticized for. So that's why in my conclusion I say that it's helpful if people understand what teachers actually have control over and what they're being judged based on to accurately critique or praise. I'm not saying every teacher's perfect. We should always be getting better. Critique can be helpful, always, but it should be more accurate. Alright, then you'd have a couple sentences of tie-in where you're going more broad about your topic again. So I would talk about education in general. Couple sentences about that, about how tech is really changing the education world, and people want to see even more advancements because a lot of ways education is outdated to previous jobs. Like the job market is so different now, and yet a lot of our schools are set up the same way that they were 50 years ago. So that's some things that are about education in general. And then you end with your super so what. So why does this job benefit the world? Why does it matter? Why does doing this job well affect society? And that's how you'll end with here. So finally, when you have that, you'll make sure your works cited is at the top of a new page. I didn't quote 7 habits, so that shouldn't be there. It should be works cited. But we should have already made this, or you are still working on making this, but this is where you would put all your citations, all the websites, the videos, whatever you are citing or referencing, you put that there. So that is a short synopsis of what to do. Oh yeah, I never fixed my titles. What could I do? Here's a pretty generic title, what teaching high school English is all about, because this essay is really just a descriptive essay about it. Okay, so you'll save this as your expository essay to your Keystone English 9 folder. You should have done it before you're at this point probably. But you are welcome to send me a draft for me to look over, and good luck with your writing.